Pigeon pea or red gram is commonly known as tur or arhar in India and is the second important pulse in the country after Bengal gram. The ability of red gram to produce high economic yields under soil moisture deficit makes it an important crop in rain-fed and dryland agriculture. Red gram is a native of India as evident from the presence of several wild relatives and diverse gene pool along with ample evidence in historic literature. India contributes for nearly 90% of world's total red gram production. However, it is gaining importance in African countries due to its adaptability to limited moisture conditions. All the cultivated types belong to two categories. 1. Khajanus khajan variety bicolor. This group includes late maturing varieties having tall bushy plants and bare flowers at the end of the branches. The pods are relatively longer and contain 4 to 5 seeds. Second, Khajanus khajan variety flavus. This group includes early maturing varieties having smaller plants and flowers at several points along the branches. The pods are also shorter, which bear 2 to 3 seeds. Description: Pigeon pea plant is an annual crop cultivated for its sweet-tasting legumes, which is consumed as a popular staple diet in many countries. It belongs to the family Fabaceae and is also known as Khajanus khajan. Its diploid chromosome number is 2n equals 22. This plant is a single woody stemmed plant, reaches about 4 meters in height and has a sophisticated root system that makes it a drought resistant type. Pigeon pea plant has a multicolored flowers with most of them being yellow colored. Alternate names: Guvandul, Poroto red gram, Tur, Arhar, Dhal, Khatjang. Indian vernacular names are: in English, red gram, pigeon pea; in Tamil, Thuvarai, Thuvaram Paruppu, Mysore Paruppu; Malayalam, Thuvara Paruppu; in Telugu, Missu Pappu, Kandi Pappu, Kandulu Pasuppu; in Kannada, Tugari Bele, Togari Bele, Masoor Dal, Tugari Kalu; in Hindi, Rahar, Arhar Dal. Origin: the center of origin of pigeon pea is eastern part of India. This crop is cultivated since 3,500 years. Archaeological finds of pigeon pea dating to about 3,400 years ago, 14th century BCE, have been found at Neolithic sites in Karnataka, Sanganakallu, and its border areas like Tuljapur, Garhi in Maharashtra and Gopalpur in Orissa, and also the South Indian states such as Kerala, where it is called Tomara Payaru. From India, it travelled to East Africa and West Africa. There, it was first encountered by Europeans, so it obtained the name Congo pea. By means of slave trade, it came to America continent, probably in the 17th century. Nowadays, pigeon pea are widely cultivated in all tropical and semi-tropical regions. India is the major producer of pigeon pea. About 82% of total production is grown in India. Apart from India, Eastern Africa and Central America are the world's main pigeon pea producing regions. Geographic distribution. Global scenario. Tur production, as mentioned earlier, largely concentrated in Asia, particularly in India. Nevertheless, tur production is picking up in some of the African countries owing to their suitable climatic conditions and global demand. Global production pattern of tur has remained largely the same over a period. Production in India accounts for about 65% of the total global output as per the latest FAO statistics. Myanmar contributes about 17%, followed by Malawi at 6% and Tanzania at 6% of the total global output. India is the largest producer as well as the consumer. India's requirements have steadily been rising with growing population and income levels. Now, it is cultivated in more than 25 countries of the world. As compared to the other pearls produced in the world, Pigeon Pea holds the 6th rank in the context of production. The world production of this crop figures around 3.5 million tons annually. The following countries are the major pigeon pea producing countries. India 24,30,000 metric ton, Myanmar 5 lakh metric ton, Malawi 79,000 metric ton, Uganda 78,000, Kenya 55,000, United Republic of Tanzania 47,000, and Nepal 26,000, and Dominican Republic's 13,000 metric tons. The domestic scenario is the area and production of tur in India has been more or less stable at 3.5 to 4 million hectares and 2.5 to 3 million metric tons respectively during the past 2 decades. The wide fluctuation in the yields could be attributed to the dependence on rainfall as majority of the crop is grown under rain-fed conditions. State-wise production is as follows. Maharashtra is the largest producer of tur, accounting for over 30% of the total production in the country, followed by Karnataka 17%, Madhya Pradesh 13%, and Andhra Pradesh 8%. These 4 major states, along with Gujarat and Jharkhand, accounts for about 80% of the total production in the country. The production distribution across the major states remains stable, but 2 important changes have occurred over period. The production in Uttar Pradesh declined steadily, while that of Karnataka increased in absolute as well as relative numbers. Although production levels are high, the yields of all major producing states, particularly Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh, are much lower than all India level. Major markets in Madhya Pradesh, Indore, Bhopal, Vidisha. In Maharashtra, Jalgaon, Latur, Mumbai, Akola. Karnataka, Gulbarga. Other major centers are Delhi, Chennai, Kanpur, Hapur, Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Sirsa, Jalandhar. Production of pigeon pea in India. India, being the largest producer of tur in the world, contributes to around 85% of the world's total production, that sums up to 24,30,000 metric tons. The main area in which tur is cultivated in India are Maharashtra 7 lakh tons, Uttar Pradesh 5 lakh tons, Karnataka 3 lakh tons, Madhya Pradesh 3 lakh tons, and Gujarat 1 lakh ton. India accounts to a production of 12 to 15 million tons of pulses, and pigeon pea contributes to around 20% of the share in it. India is also the leading country in the list of maximum area covered, contributing to around 3.73 million hectares. This crop yields between 600 to 1200 kgs per hectare. Economic importance. It's an excellent source of protein. For vegetarians, pigeon pea is the safest and source of highest protein, which helps in muscle and organ development. Vitamins and minerals. Pigeon pea contains vitamins and minerals such as thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, vitamin A, along with calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, and sodium. Liver protection. Pigeon peas are also helpful in liver protection if we consume on regular basis. Research studies show that when pigeon pea given to test mice with damaged livers showed a substantial improvement in the condition. Not only in healing, it also showed sustained liver protection when given regularly. Can treat diarrhea and dysentery. Traditionally, it is believed that young leaves of this plant are useful in treating diarrhea and dysentery. The leaves are taken and made into paste and consumed. Alternatively, the juice of young leaves can be given for treating diarrhea and dysentery. Soil and climatic requirement. Soil. Pigeon pea tolerates a wide range of well-drained medium-heavy soils, from sands to heavy black clays. Tolerates a wide range of pH, but the most favorable range is pH 5 to 7. It is sensitive to salt spray, high salinity, and to waterlogging. However, there are varieties which are tolerant to salinity, frost, and to waterlogging also. It will grow in sand provided it does not contain more than 0.05 mg of sodium chloride per gram of soil. Climate. Khajanus khajan is very heat tolerant, prefers hot, moist conditions, grows well at temperatures between 18 and 35 degrees Celsius, does not tolerate frost but will grow in temperature to just above frost level. Red gram is mostly cultivated as a kharif crop in India, while rabi season cultivation is in practice in the eastern parts of the country. Crop duration varies from 120 to 150 days depending on the varieties and area of cultivation. Crop calendar. In South Central India, June to November. Northwest India, July to November. Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal, September to January. Varieties. The varieties are classified as 1. Short duration, 2nd. Medium duration, and 3rd. Long duration. Short duration varieties. The crop duration is about 100 to 150 days. T21SD, UPAS 120 SD, ICPL 15 SD, COH 1 SD, CO6 MD, COH 2 SD. Medium duration varieties. The crop duration is about 150 to 180 days. KM7 MD. Long duration varieties. The crop duration is about 180 to 300 days. Bahar LD, Wambani 1 LD are the varieties. Cultural practices and yield. Pigeon pea is mostly cultivated as a secondary or mixed crop throughout the world. It is mainly a tropical crop which is cultivated with the cereal grains such as maize, millet, sorghum, etc. This crop can be long-lasting crop as it can last for a period of 3 to 5 years, but it is generally grown as an annual crop. Sowing methods. Best sown in rows for inter-row cultivation and mechanical harvesting. Can be seeded in holes about 2 meters apart or in 35 centimeter rows for fine stems for silage and mechanical harvesting. In India, it is usually sown in alternate rows with sesame or Eleusine coracanna. Planting is done by maize drill, by broadcasting or by hand. Seed is sown from 2.5 to 10 cm deep, the deeper figure being in hand dibbling. Sow in spring to early summer at 0.5 to 4 kg per hectare depending on required density, up to 5 to 7 kg per hectare under irrigation. Number of seeds per kg is about 16,000. Percentage of hard seed is less than the 10% required for commercial sale. Seed treatment before planting. To break dormancy, no treatment is required. Inoculation is usually not necessary. Pelleting is usually not necessary. If to protect rhizobium, rock phosphate has to be used. For insect and disease control, treat seed with insecticide and fungicide. Seedling is fairly slow to start and weed control for the first 2 months of growth considerably improves its performance. When established, it makes vigorous growth. Breeding system. Usually self-fertile, but some natural crossing up to 40% also occurs. Field preparation. Fine seedbed with friable soil with optimum moisture content is the prerequisite for good germination and growth. Deep plowing is required since the pigeon pea is a deep-rooted plant. Prepare raised bed of 2.7 meter wide with channels in between. Seeds and sowing. Sow the seeds by flat sowing method. The seed requirement is 8 to 10 kg for long duration varieties, 10 to 12 kg for medium duration varieties, and 12 to 15 kg for short duration varieties. If mixed crop is opted, then use 50% of the individual varietal requirement. Optimum population ideal is 1,11,000 plants per hectare. The spacing requirement is as follows: 45 into 15 cm for short duration varieties, 45 into 30 cm for medium duration varieties, and 90 into 30 cm for long duration varieties. Use only 2 seeds per hole. Place the seeds shallow and not deep in the hole. Nutrient management. Pigeon pea gives good response to biofertilizers. It responds well to nitrogen up to 25 kg as starter dose. It gives good response to phosphorus up to 60 kg. Water management. Since it is a deep-rooted system, it draws moisture from deeper soil strata. Branching, flowering, and pod filling are crucial stages where irrigation is required. Irrigation at the rate of 0.4 IW per CPE. Water stagnation should be avoided at any stage of the crop. 2 major irrigations and life-supporting irrigation whenever required is sufficient. Weed management. Being an initial sluggish growing crop, weed is a major problem. Crop weed competition exists for about 7 to 8 weeks. It can be managed by growing quick and short duration crops as intercropping. Mulching in between the rows also reduces weeds. Intercultivation or hand weeding is must. Pre-emergence application of fluchloralin or pendimethalin at 75 kg per hectare on third day after sowing. Cropping system. Pigeon pea is basically grown as an intercrop with short duration crops. The combination with cereals are sorghum plus pigeon pea, finger millet plus pigeon pea, maize plus pigeon pea. The combination with pulses are pigeon pea plus green gram or black gram or soybean. The combination with other crops are pigeon pea plus groundnut or castor or sesame or cotton or sugarcane or sunflower. Pigeon pea is also grown as a sequential crop with pigeon pea followed by wheat or mustard, which is followed by green gram, or pigeon pea followed by potato, which is followed by black gram or green gram. Pests of pigeon pea. The major problem of pigeon pea crop is the infestation by borers. Gram pod borer caused by Helicoverpa armigera. Defoliation in early stages is the main symptom. Round holes are noticed in pods. Only head of the larva is thrust inside the pod and the rest of the body hangs out. As control measure, raise one row of sunflower as intercrop for every 9 rows of pigeon pea and plant maize as border crop. Mechanical collection of grown-up larvae and blister beetle is recommended. As a chemical measure, apply azadirachtin 0.03% WSP at 2.5 to 5 kg per hectare. Bacillus thuringiensis serover kustaki 5% WP at 1 to 1.25 kg per hectare or dimethoate 30% EC at 1237 milliliters per hectare. Blue butterfly, Lampides boticus. Birds, flowers and young pods have boreholes. One can notice the presence of slug-like caterpillar. Honeydew secretion with black ant movement is observed. As control measures, avoid dense and close planting. Avoid early or late sowing. Regular soil digging causes death of the larva and pupa. Egg parasitoid Trichogramma species can be used as biological control. Carbaryl 50 WP at 1 kg per hectare can be used as chemical control measure. Grass blue butterfly, Euchrysops niges. Birds, flowers and young pods have boreholes and presence of slug-like caterpillar is noticed. Larval entry hole on the pod is plugged with excreta. As control measures, avoid closer plant spacing. Grow tall sorghum as companion crop to serve as biological bird perches. Collect and destroy larvae and adults to the extent possible. Releasing of Trichogramma cleonis at weekly intervals at 1.5 lakh per hectare per week for 4 times as biological control. Apply Carbaryl 5D insecticide at 2.5 kg per hectare. Plume moth, Axelastis atomosa. Pinhead holes on pods, appearance of small spiny caterpillars and pupae are the symptoms. As control measures, dimethoate 30% EC, 1237 milliliters per hectare, in addition to mechanical collection, application of neem oil and biological controls. Spotted pod borer, Maruca testulalis. Boreholes on the birds, flower or pods are noticed. Infested pods and flowers are webbed together. As control measures, dimethoate 30% EC, 1237 milliliters per hectare in addition to mechanical collection, application of neem oil and biological controls. Birds are the most effective mechanical control measure agents. Suitable facilities are to be made in the field to encourage birds to visit the field and feed on the pests such as provisions for bird perches and water. Harvesting. There is no synchronized maturity in case of pigeon pea. Growth is indeterminate. When 70 to 80% of the pods turn brown, harvesting should be done by cutting the plants and drying. Threshing may be done by passing stone rollers or by beating against hard surface. Seeds may be stored at 10 to 12% moisture level of the seeds. Summary: Pigeon pea plant is an annual crop cultivated for its sweet-tasting legumes, which is consumed as a popular staple diet in many countries. It belongs to the family of Fabaceae and is also known as Khajanus khajan. Its diploid chromosome number is 2n equals 22. This plant is a single woody-stemmed plant, reaches about 4 meters in height and has a sophisticated root system that makes it a drought-resistant type. Pigeon pea plant has multicolored flowers, with most of them being yellow-colored. The world production of this crop figures around 3.5 million tons annually. India, Myanmar, Malawi, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Nepal are some of the important pigeon pea cultivating countries. In India, Maharashtra is the largest producer of tur, accounting for over 30% of the total production in the country, followed by Karnataka 17%, Madhya Pradesh 13% and Andhra Pradesh 8%. Red gram is mostly cultivated as a kharif crop in India, while rabi season cultivation is in practice in the eastern parts. There are many registered varieties of tur which are classified as short duration, medium duration and long duration varieties. Crop duration varies from 120 to 150 days depending on the varieties and area of cultivation. The crop yields between 600 to 1200 kg per hectare in different varieties and different types of cultural practices. Thank you.